We usually treat a garden as a collection of beautiful plants, a quiet, passive display of annuals and perennials arranged for us to admire. Watch the blooms closely, and you'll find they serve as meeting places for some of nature's hardest workers, operating on a schedule most of us never notice. When you see a bee at work, it isn't simply wandering. Every visit is part of a strict biological mission to sustain its colony. Every flower is a functioning part of a living ecosystem, and the beauty of our surroundings depends entirely on these small, individual interactions. This interaction is driven by a simple need. The bee requires nectar and pollen to feed its hive. As it forages, the bee inadvertently becomes a courier, picking up tiny grains of pollen on its body and carrying them to the next bloom. This is pollination. It is the physical process that links two separate plants, allowing them to exchange the genetic material necessary for reproduction. Once that pollen is delivered, the plant can finally produce seeds, fruits, and vegetables, or grow the next generation of flowers. This mechanical exchange functions as a biological trade agreement, where the bee provides transportation in exchange for the food it needs to survive. Because plants come in an endless variety of shapes and sizes, no single insect can handle the job of pollinating them all. Honeybees are the most recognizable members of this workforce, but they are only one part of a much larger, diverse team. Bumblebees are larger and fuzzier, with the physical weight needed to vibrate certain flowers and shake pollen loose that other insects can't reach. Then there are hundreds of native bee species. Many are so small they are easily missed, yet they are specialized to work with the specific local plants in their home regions. A resilient garden depends on this specialized workforce. Diversity ensures that no matter the flower shape, there is a bee equipped to handle the job. While these interactions happen on a microscopic scale in our backyards, their cumulative impact dictates the health of the entire planet. Together, these diverse insects function as a massive, decentralized agricultural engine, working without central direction. This chart shows the weight they carry. Approximately 75% of all flowering plants on Earth rely on these animal pollinators to survive. That percentage translates to the human plate, supporting the apples, almonds, and coffee beans. Modern agriculture and natural ecosystem diversity are bound to the daily routines of this wild workforce. The incredibly colorful, food-rich world that we rely upon every day is built entirely on the labor of these fragile insects. We have to look at what happens when this biological partnership falters. Landscapes begin to lose their color, followed by a severe drop in the biodiversity of the wildlife that feeds on those plants. This graph illustrates the direct economic consequence. As pollinator populations drop, global crop yields plummet alongside them, threatening our global food supply. The diversity of our natural ecosystems and the strength of our agricultural systems are both tethered to the health of these pollinators. Maintaining a global biosphere sounds like an impossible task for one person, but the solution starts with small, manageable wins. Planting a few flowers in a balcony planter or a small garden bed provides an immediate, valuable food source for local bees. When we choose plants that bloom at different times throughout the growing season, we create a steady supply of pollen and nectar when the workforce needs it most. Every flower we plant supports a life, and every bee we support helps keep the world in bloom. By understanding our role in this partnership, we ensure the engine keeps running, one side quest at a time. The exchange is direct. We gain a vibrant environment, and the bees secure the fuel required to sustain the globe. The next time you encounter a bee, consider the weight of its quiet, invisible labor. Planting a flower is a profound act of sustaining life. Together, every bloom and every bee helps our world thrive.